One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make in the manifesting community, whether they're trying to manifest their desires or change their reality, is that they underestimate the power of self-concept. I've spoken about self-concept in little drips and drabs across videos on my channel, but today I'm going to be doing a deep dive on this because I get so many comments saying, "Hey Kiera, I want to manifest X, Y, and Z," or "I want to shift to my desired reality." But they always end their sentence with something like, "But I haven't seen my results. I haven't seen progress that I've wanted. I can't do it. It's not working. I've been trying for this many years." Sorry to break it to you, but those things that you're saying aren't just throwaway phrases. They're actually having an effect on your reality, and that is what's blocking you. It doesn't matter what method you're using. It doesn't matter what techniques you're using. Saying that you can't do it, saying all of those things that I said then, that is what's blocking you. And some of you don't even realize that you're doing it because you're just saying them on a whim. You don't realize how powerful your self-concept is. And today I'm going to change that, because for most of you, the missing piece to your manifestation journey, to your shifting journey, is understanding how powerful your self-concept really is. So not only am I going to be talking about what self-concept actually is in this video, I'm going to be telling you why it's the foundation to literally anything to do with manifesting your desires and shifting your reality. And I'm also going to tell you how to change your self-concept, because that's probably why you're here as well. So let's just get straight to it. So burning question, Kiera, what the hell even is self-concept? It is basically your identity, how you speak about yourself, how you speak to yourself, and how you believe life works when it comes to you. So, little kind of like exercise. If I were to ask you to describe yourself, how would you do that? Would you say that you're capable? Would you say that you're confident? You have a magnetic aura? Would you say that you're attractive? I don't know. But whatever pops into your mind first, that is what your self-concept is, or at least a little bit of your self-concept, at least when it comes to you as a person, your actual identity. So, if you were to say things to yourself like, "Money never comes easy to me," "I'm never chosen when it comes to love," or "I'm not attractive enough," you are telling your subconscious these things that many times. It accepts it as truth. Your subconscious isn't going to fight whatever you say, it will just listen to you. So your 3D world has no choice but to reflect that back to you. That's why Neville Goddard says the world is like a mirror. So I'm going to try and use a few little anecdotes so that if you didn't understand what I just said, I want this to click for you, okay? So let's see if one of these works. Firstly, Neville Goddard's mirror analogy. Let's say you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're frowning. What will you see reflected back to you? Yourself frowning. So if you wanted your reflection to smile back at you, what would you have to do? You would have to smile yourself, and then the mirror will reflect it back to you. Not because the mirror has an opinion or it has a choice or a mind of its own, it's purely just reflecting back what you give it. And that's the same as your 3D world. Your reality works in this exact same way. If you want to be someone who's confident, who's attractive, who has a magnetic aura, someone who's always loved, you have to first embody that within your self-concept and act as if that is already you. And then the mirror, your 3D world, will have no choice but to reflect that back to you. Another way you can look at this is through the lens of the soil analogy, which is another one of Neville Goddard's anecdotes, analogies, whatever. If, for example, you have soil, no matter what seeds you plant, those seeds will grow. Especially if you water those seeds, they will grow as well. So if these seeds in question are things like you saying, "I can't manifest this, I haven't been able to shift to my desired reality, I can't do it, I just can't do it, nothing's working," whatever it is, your subconscious won't fight those thoughts. Those seeds will just be planted and they will grow, especially if you feed into those thoughts and you keep feeding into them, keep thinking about them until it becomes overpowering. That's the seed growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So imagine if you were to have healthy, fertile soil, and you were to plant seeds such as, "I am a master manifester, I can manifest things with ease, I can change my reality with a click of a finger, I have my desired body, I am with my specific person." It doesn't even matter if it's the tiniest of seeds, that seed will be planted and it will grow beautifully, especially if you water that seed. You keep thinking those positive assumptions, you keep thinking about those positive self-concepts. They will grow. Another thing I want to point out as well, and it's quite important to be fair, nobody in this life is special. And you might think, Kiera, why the fuck are you saying that? What do you mean? When you see people, whether it's on social media or people who you know personally, achieving their goals, living out their dream life according to you, you see them as special because they've been able to fully embody a positive self-concept and really cultivate it. That's what makes them seem special. They don't see themselves as, oh, I'm better than everyone else kind of way. They've worked their ass off to not only have that positive self-concept, but to maintain that so that they can achieve all of these things that they have in life. And they deserve to sit at those tables because of that. So no one is really special in this life. They just know that their thoughts, their beliefs shape what they see around them. And they've had proof of that through a negative concept and even a positive one. But they've chosen to really, really double down on maintaining a positive self-concept in order for them to reap the rewards from it. Now here's one more analogy. If those other analogies didn't click for you, I hope to God that this one does. Think of your life as a show and you're the main character, but not in the way that you see on TikTok. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So obviously when you're playing a character, you have a script to follow. The script in question is your subconscious. So if in the script it says stuff like, my character is unlucky, they're never lucky in love, they're always short of money, they're not attractive, they're unlovable, that's what's going to play out in the show because that's what's written in the script. You have the ability to change that script whenever you want and however you see fit. So you can change this script being like, people are drawn to me because of how attractive I am. I am the most confident person alive. I attract money so easily. You're writing that in the script, therefore that will be in your show. And because you're changing the script, everything else about the show, the side characters, the opportunities, all of that type of stuff, they will adapt to match what you've added into the script. Now let's use some real life manifestation examples, and I'm just going to use like the most common things that people want to manifest, right? So firstly, if you want to manifest physical appearance changes, because yes, you can do that. I've done that. If you want to manifest, for example, let's say like a button nose, thicker lips, glass skin, your desired physique, lighter eye colour, whatever it is. If you're telling yourself, I never look good, nothing ever works, that is a negative concept. You can do all of the visualization in the world, but if you have a negative self-concept, what's really going to change? Nothing. So instead, you need to change this negative self-concept into a positive one, telling yourself that you always radiate confidence. Your looks always align with how you want yourself to look. You are beautiful, both on the inside and the out. And that's when you'll actually see the results start to come. You can look through my past videos, even from like 2 years ago or further, and you can see the physical changes in me. I've lost weight in my face. I look a lot healthier. I don't look as washed, you know? I have a lot more colour to me. That is purely down to having a positive self-concept. My acne went as well. Do you see the skin? Clear as fuck, right? All down to positive self-concept. Similar way goes if you want to manifest an SP, a specific person, to those of you who don't know. So, if you want to manifest somebody to, I don't know, either be friends with you, or if you want to be in a relationship with a specific person, but you'll keep telling yourself, oh, they'll never choose me, I'm never chosen anyway, I'm so unlucky when it comes to this shit. That is what your 3D will play out, because that's your self-concept. So instead you need to change your self-concept into saying that this person is literally obsessed with me, I'm magnetic, that's why they're drawn to me, they want to talk to me, stuff like that. If you want financial abundance but you'll keep telling yourself that you're always short of money, that it doesn't come easy to you, that you're broke, what's going to happen? Your situation will never change if you think like that. You have to change that mindset. You have to flip it on its head. You need to tell yourself that you always just fall into money. It just comes to you. You don't even have to do anything. All you have to do is actually just breathe, and money will just fly your way. Even if you are a person who likes to shift to their DR, which I know many of you like to do that. If you're telling yourself things like, oh, I've been trying for X amount of years and I haven't seen any results, or I've been trying this method but nothing's working, I just can't do it. No wonder you haven't shifted yet, deliberately. You have to change that self-concept, saying that you shift with ease. Shifting comes natural to you. You've always been able to do it, and you will always continue to have that ability. It never leaves you. You're a master shifter, okay? But see how it always comes back to your self-concept, no matter what it is that you want to attract into your life. It always comes back to your self-concept, either about your identity or how you see the world treating you, like how you see your life panning out. Now, I'm not going to tell you the theory of all this without telling you how to change your self-concept, because I want all of you guys who watch this video to be able to live out your desires, to be able to live your dream life. I'm going to tell you how to make your negative self-concept a much more positive one. First thing you have to do is understand what you're feeding your brain. Understand your mental diet. What's a mental diet? It's exactly what it says on the tin. You need to kind of become a whole lot more aware of the inner conversations that you're having with yourself, the thoughts that you're thinking, but also the stuff that you hear around you, that you consume, that you kind of let soak in there. You need to understand, okay, what thoughts am I having that is triggering a negative self-concept, or what's causing this negative concept? What am I thinking about that's hindering my manifestations? This could be, for example, the thought of, oh, I can't manifest. My results aren't showing in my 3D, so clearly I'm not capable. I can't do it. Nothing works. Those are just a few examples of having a negative self-concept. You talking to yourself, telling yourself that you're unable. What I want you to do is, whenever you feel any one of these kind of thoughts cropping up into your mind, I want you to grab it and flip it straight away, because we're changing our mental diet in order to feed it positivity so that we can manifest these things. The next thing we're going to do is repetition. Our subconscious really soaks in these thoughts and assumptions through repetition. The reason why is because when we repeat stuff to ourselves over and over again, it's creating a neural pathway, or it's rewiring one that used to be there. So when you're telling yourself all these negative things about you being unable to manifest this, not really being financially abundant, being unlovable, the more you tell that to yourself, the more you're strengthening those neural pathways. So when you want to maintain a strong positive self-concept, the more you visualize, the more you affirm, and the more you persist with doing these things, the stronger those neural pathways will become for you. They'll get stronger to the point where your new story that you fed to yourself will become the default story. It will be natural for your brain to think that way. Now, this next step is where your actions link with your identity. This next step, embodied alignment or intended action. You basically want to try and link an action with these positive self-concepts. So let's say if you want to manifest clear skin, create a skincare routine. It doesn't even have to be advanced. I can tell you how simple my skincare routine is. It doesn't have to be some 15-step thing. Just create a skincare routine. And whenever you carry out this skincare routine, you're telling yourself how grateful you are to have this clear skin, how happy you are that you have no acne anymore, you never have spots, even if you're not on your time of the month, if you are AFAB. The same thing if you want to achieve your desired physique, if you want to manifest your desired body, if you're, for example, working out at the gym, or even if you're doing stretching or at-home workout or walking outside. You could tell yourself how grateful you are to have a healthy, desired body, and you can add in the details of how exactly that looks for you. These actions kind of act like anchors for your subconscious, because your subconscious will start linking the actions that you're doing with the belief that you're telling yourself, so it will deepen that belief even more so. The next thing that you want to do, which is kind of linked to the embodiment alignment, identity shifting. This is basically where you think about, okay, how would the version of me who already has these desires, how would they act, how would they think, and how would they feel? And once you get that down, once you know exactly what that version of you thinks like, how they act like, how they feel like, what they do with their life and whatever, start embodying that now. It's like, don't just say that you're confident, be confident. Not in a faking way. You're just embodying that version of yourself who is already confident. And that, my friends, is an identity shift. This one is another big one, and it might seem hard to do for some people when they first think about it, but it honestly is a lot more easier than you'd think. Surrounding yourself with people, with content that you consume, environments that reflect, that reinforce what your new self-concept is. If you're surrounded by people, for example, if you want to manifest money, if you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who are always talking about their lack of money, who are always complaining about their financial situation, what is going to change? Because again, back to the mental diet, what you're consuming around you affects your self-concept a lot more than you think. So if you want to manifest money, again, as the example, like I said, you want to stop surrounding yourself with things that glorify the lack of money. And this final step is probably the most important one on this list, because this can either make it or break it. Persistence. You can't just do one of these things for a week and then expect an abundance of change, because that's not how it works. I'm pretty sure it takes like 21 days to form a habit in the first place. It takes time to erase these old thoughts and make your new self-concept the default story in your mind. So naturally, when you first start out with this, the old thoughts are gonna crop up a bit more than you'd expect, but you just have to persist. You just have to know that what you're doing will reap its rewards by the end. It is worth it. You just have to stick with it. Like I said, if you try this out for like a week and then you don't see the results, one, why are you trusting the 3D? The 3D just has to catch up, it's lagging. And two, it's just not going to help your situation. So just stay persistent. It's very kind of like, not wishy-washy, that's not really the right word. A lot of people say like keep persistent, keep going, don't give up. But genuinely, that's all it is. So changing your self-concept isn't about this fake it till you make it thing. It's about aligning yourself with the person who you really are. Your higher self, if you will. Someone who's abundant, someone who's financially free, someone who's loved, magnetic, attractive, beautiful. How many other adjectives that you'd want to use to describe your new self. And quite simply, if you don't like what's reflecting back in your 3D world, the first thing you have to do is change your self-concept, and then the 3D will have no choice but to catch up with your current assumptions, because that's all the 3D has been doing for your whole entire life. Before you even knew what manifesting was, every assumption that you've had has manifested into your life. You're now just taking advantage of that law. So comment below what's one new assumption that you're going to make about yourself as part of this new self-concept journey. Leave it in the comments and declare that shit now. And if this video resonated with you, then be sure to hit that like button and share it to people who you think might find it useful too. If this is the first time you're coming across my content and enjoyed, then be sure to subscribe down below and turn on post notifications too, because I post stuff like this every single week. So you don't want to miss out on these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.